Yeah, that's what you,
I would like to hear from from the applicant on
Mr. Chair, if I can jump in and just recommend, so we don't get too far off track, we are kind of required to follow a certain order for the particular hearing we're in, so I would encourage you to ask any questions you have of staff and hold off on your deliberations until after you've given the applicant an opportunity to comment, the public an opportunity to comment, and then you can have the deliberations over the specifics. So if you don't have any further questions of staff, they're complete with their presentation, I would encourage you to allow the applicant to proceed.
I have a question on the staff before the applicant. Is there a measurement on sound and air quality coming out of the exhaust that can be regulated?
There are performance specs required of kitchen exhaust systems. They do have to be located a certain proximity away from intakes for fresh air. They can't exceed going across property lines. It really is going to be predicated on the number of them and the number of CFMs, which is the cubic foot per minute for air they're trying to move. So that may be a question that you might want to hear more from the architect on, because there's not much to do with the design, how it looks.
Any other, well, we can screen it, certainly. It can be screened.
Yes.
And should be, must be. Any other questions of staff for now?
I think the staff did an excellent job of coming up with recommendations on this.
yeah, and I also want to compliment the applicant for
Yes.
working with staff. I was very impressed when I
was
saw the
too.
plans compared to the other plans, and they incorporated a lot of the comments that we had regarding site plan and direction we gave to you, and then I could clearly see that you had been working with our staff, which was, you know, my primary concern is that there was a consensus application before us, and I think we're pretty close to that, so.
Absolutely. Can we hear from the applicant? And Bonnie, you were sworn in tonight?
I wasn't, I apologize. I was getting medicine, I have a cold.
You and the rest of the county.
I can sort of tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth and nothing else.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Bonnie Whistle. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, and I apologize for my tardiness. We don't really have anything to add. As always, William has had a very thorough presentation for you, and the conditions are fine. Just as perhaps if this helps at all for the chairman's comment, we really don't have a problem trying to move the lift further west and away from the visible, as long as it complies with ADA. So perhaps on that condition, if you want to allow staff and us to get together and be given the latitude to try to relocate it as long as it doesn't violate ADA, I think we'd be fine with that if that helps.
That helps.
Okay, so.
I left the last meeting with the understanding that Mr. Gonzalez had possibilities of not looking at it.
Yeah, and again, you know, we would agree it was a legitimate comment on your part, and as long as we can comply with ADA, we're happy to accommodate you. Otherwise, we're fine with the conditions. Thank you.
Any other questions of
I think
the applicant?
you had a question of the applicant regarding you wanted to know how the venting is now and what mitigation efforts they're making so
We
they
might need that in the addition, because the kitchen's actually in the addition of the hotel versus the exterior.
So right now, we're only we've only heard the staff presentation on the 16th, so maybe we should open up the public comment for just the Gulf Stream.
Well,
I have one question. There was a decorative piece along the top of the hotel. Was there any consideration to restoring that?
Wait, may I address?
Yeah, we have been discussing this at length on bringing back this, what may be a bas relief or terracotta element. And the architect and I did talk about, and it's within our conditions of approval, if we can get enough photo documentation of what it is and how it will look, they will make some attempt to bring this back.
I think that would be very nice of you. That was actually on.
There is a lot of details that as the progress that's been made in the last couple of weeks, it's fantastic. The details are still
And that was even mentioned on our plans that we got, that if the mosaics could be found, then.
and the railing details.
I'd like to, sorry.
I'm hoping are going to be worked out. Go ahead.
I'd like to hear about your progress, and I know you said that you have some you're applying for the, I mean, obviously it's a historic landmark, but you have to, I think you said you were applying for some tax credits or some other things that were going to make it, specifically like the historic requirements, you had to document those, and I just kind of wanted to understand that part a little bit.
I'll let Steve, Mr. Bradley.
Steve Michael, Hudson Hogan. We have submitted our part two. Yes.
Did you raise your?
Yes, I did.
You did.
I did. We have submitted our part two application to both State SHPO, and that was approved by State SHPO without conditions, and it was sent on to Park Services. So it's currently at Park Services for final approval. And we will be utilizing tax credits with the understanding that we follow the timeline.
And then the parks, the Parks, National Park Service, they review that and with their own guidelines, obviously, for this application as well.
Yeah.
So that's nice to hear that we're, you know, that this building that's so important to us is getting multiple looks at multiple levels, so.
It'll have a lot of scrutiny from Park Services.
That's good.
I can assure you.
Good.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for working with staff. I'm really, really pleased with the cooperation and staff's professionalism. Can we hear from the public?
Mr. Chair, we did have 2 cards handed to me. We did not typically don't use public comment cards, but we do have 2, so we can call these names, and then if there are any additional after that. The first was Linda Mahoney.
Linda Mahoney, 131 North Belfry Road. For the sake of keeping the meeting moving, may I make my comments and have them apply to each of the cases under F1 through 5, so that I don't have to come up and say the same thing?
Okay, sure.
Yes. Okay. My objections to HRPB 15-001, 00217, 216, 215, 214, and 231, as well as the additional associated cases, were stated and made a part of the official record at the HRPB meeting of February 17, 2016. As this is a continuation of that meeting, my objections remain. To those objections, I would like to add the following. Plans in the discussion have included the use of the roof of the historic Gulfstream Hotel by guests and/or the public. The Gulfstream Hotel is a legal, non-conforming building at its current height. Under section 23.5-3, nonconformities, paragraph D, nonconforming buildings and structures. A nonconforming building may continue to exist in a nonconforming state so long as it otherwise conforms to law subject to the following provisions. In part, no such building shall be enlarged or altered in any way so as to increase its nonconformity. The use of the roof increases the height of the building, which then increases the nonconformity. I object to that, in addition to my other objections. As a little matter of history, because you were asking about the pool, the 3 condo buildings south of the Gulfstream Hotel comprise the Gulfstream Condominium Association, the Towers, the Hampshire, and the Statler. And the pool in front of the Statler, the glass house in front of the Hampshire, and the putting green that used to be in front of the Towers were originally owned by or owned with the condominiums, owned by the hotel or in conjunction with the condominiums. The pool on the south side of the Gulfstream Hotel was put in the mid-80s. So that's just a little bit of a history on the pool for the hotel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have a question for Linda. Linda, you were saying in your comment that you felt that the use of the roof, but the pool is on the annex, it's a second story pool.
The use of the roof has nothing to do with the pool. I'm just talking about the pool because it was mentioned about whether it had ever been on the ground or some pools are on the ground.
So you're objecting then specifically to the use of the roof on the historic Wall Street?
Yes.
And the second name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Golden, Joanne Golden.
evening, and thank you for this continuation and your continual effort to do this project here. To quote the city website, which is our connection to the world, the city has a rich history and is protective of its historic architectural fabric. Over 1,000 historic buildings contribute to the human scale and charm of the downtown and residential areas. I'm going to refer to all of these zoning requests: HRPB 15, 001, 00217, 001, 00216, 001, 00215, and 001, 00214. This zoning allows for building heights in excess of 45 feet or 4 stories, voted in March of 2013 through a charter amendment. This charter amendment protected our downtown corridor. This board continues to disregard this vote and move to supplant your own vision, and we should think about this in promoting a canyon effect and continuing the poor decisions of the past with those other tall buildings down there. Putting our future as the sea level rises, our resources and infrastructure to support these new buildings is depleted, and into this proposal with a less than transparent or auspicious beginning is foolhardy. This rezoning ordinance is representative of a pattern of disregarding the residents of the city, its historic architectural fabric, its human scale, and its charm. The charter amendment protects these valuable assets. This zoning change does not. There is very little about the sustainability of this building that's been brought up, how it's being built, and I noticed that they said that it was going to get an Energy Star approval. As far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong, I'd like to be corrected if I am, Energy Star has to do with the appliances, pretty much, that are in the building. If you use a refrigerator that has so many, uses so much wattage, that you could buy one that uses less. That doesn't really have anything to do with the sustainability of the building or the nature of the building, which we're supposed to be adhering to with the South Florida climate change task forces that have been started and that need to be adhered to in anything that's so close to the water. It seems like there's very little sustainability with this project, and it's very short on sustainability and very short on, very long on profit in the short term. I'm concerned about what's going to happen in the future, and the fact that we haven't considered global warming, sea level rise, and those considerations have not been brought up at all with this meeting or with any of these proposals so far. So I hope to hear something about it in the future.
Maybe at the presentation of the candidates debate. Any other comments from the public? Ma'am?
This is from a card, is that okay?
Yeah.
Teresa Miller, 829 North Lakeside. This is becoming death by 1,000 cuts in a way. I won't be so presumptuous as to tell anybody how to build a building or how to make it work. That's not my area of expertise by any means. I really am up here as a citizen of Lake Worth to say, get it done. Get it on the tax rolls, bring on the guests, will help our small businesses, and bring on the jobs. And I do want to have an aside to the board. I've not attended many of these meetings. I think this is just my third one. And I want to acknowledge the phenomenal work that you do. It's the detail that you have to go through on a project like this is pretty overwhelming. The integrity that you've shown and the hard work that you've done, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other comments from the public? Back to the board. Any other questions of staff? Any other questions of the applicant?
I don't think on this part.
Mr. Chairman, may I just respond to Mrs. Lee's comment and clarify the uses on the roof?
Yes.
For the record, I'll be very brief. First of all, I'd like to distinguish between use and structure. The rooftop uses have been noted in articles that date back for decades. In fact, if you've ever been up on the roof, there's flooring on the roof because the property and the roof had been used for parties and functions, both evening, during the day, and in the morning. So the use itself was previously approved, it was previously used, and it's conforming. Furthermore, the uses that were there are uses that are permitted uses in hotels. So we don't have a non-conforming use issue. As to the non-conforming structure, the height of the structure goes to the very top of the rooftop element, which is far above the roof. But any references to any of the elements that are shown on the graphics, they are portable. There were umbrellas previously used up there, and there were chairs and furnishings, and this space was used, and it will be used as has been designed to be used. But what we're showing on the graphics are illustrative. They are portable, they can be installed, and they can be removed. They are not part of the structure. So we do not affect anything on the roof other than fixing it to restore it to what it had previously been. So I just wanted to clarify the record.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
I actually,
We really didn't, I'm assuming that our staff and the rest of the required duties of the city are going to be responsible for the kitchen exhaust. Does the applicant?
well, we've only heard testimony on the Gulfstream. We haven't heard it on the addition where the kitchens will be. So we can talk about the kitchens in the next application.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Good. All right, then you're ready for a motion.
Yep.
All right, so, actually, I have a question to staff. We were asking for some additional language for number 2. One, and the applicant brought up that it would be possible to also relocate the, have it in there, the flexibility to relocate the handicap lift to the west side of the structure. And that flexibility, and also the additional direction from the board that the lift should be custom designed to create parity in the front.
Okay, so to amend condition number 2, then, this is a proposal from staff at this time. The specific design, configuration, and location of the accessible lift shall be subject to staff review and approval prior to permitting. And then I guess I'll add, if the location of the lift is required to be as it is shown on these drawings, then the proposed lift design shall emulate to the extent possible the current configuration of a low knee wall with a balustrade in order to preserve the symmetrical design and integrity of the central 5 bays on the north elevation.
Which is why I wanted you to write that condition and not me. It's much more eloquently written. So then I will make a motion. Now, excuse me.
Just to clarify, when you make the motion for the exterior alterations, you will include all the conditions of approval except for number 7 and number 8.
Okay. And this is for 16, correct? I'm reading for
Yes.
application 16, okay.
No, it's number 17.
17, the original is for the addition, okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve HR, well, that's why I asked, because I was HRPB 15-001-00217. I'd like to make a motion to approve that with the conditions as proposed in the staff report, with the amended condition number 2 as read into the record by Ms. Amy Sunny, and eliminating conditions 7 and 8 for this particular application.
Second.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We will move on to the HRPB project number 15-001-00216, certificate of buildings for an addition to the existing historic Gulfstream Hotel, including a historic
As we sort of going down that road of the addition, there are 2 additions being proposed to the building. We're including the bridge between the old hotel and an annex as an addition. and then the pool deck on the back. This is a view from the east of the proposed pool deck in addition. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, they have refined, the architect has refined this elevation to be more in keeping with the rhythm, proportions, and arrangement of the existing hotel. It is set back as we requested a reveal. The door and panel system has been changed and altered. This little tent design has been added. If we go to the south elevation, you'll see that they have made significant changes there as well. We do have a condition relative to the south elevation for the applicant and architect to continue to work with us to better refine this. We would request that the board allow, if the applicant would like, the application of murals in some or all of these openings, or tile mosaics at some time in the future. The actual design could come back to you, but they could do that. We do want to work with them to have this element here refined a bit. I mentioned the clear story windows, which are kind of hidden behind here. That's one of the conditions, is to ensure that those are maintained or internally lit. We'll get to the exhaust. There is a dumpster vent here. There's another exhaust, I believe, by where the loading dock is. And then that's basically all you can really see from the additions. We'll go to the bridge, which is in a different whole sheet. The bridge element has come a long way. It is more complementary in the vein of the Art Deco inspired architecture. There are some elements that need further refining, and one of the conditions proposed is to have the applicant architect work with us to further refine that, to have it be a more delicate type element in keeping with the rest of the building. And from what I understand, the applicant architect is open to doing that with us. So
Say
there's not a
that,
whole,
say that again with the windows on the thing.
we would like to work with them to make this a little lighter. Lighter elements, a little heavy.
Yeah.
And we think we can do that. They've worked with us very collaboratively, and we've still been talking on the phone. And there's further refinement that we would like to leave with staff to work out that part of permitting. That's basically the extent of the addition to the existing hotel, because most of what the pool deck you can't see from the street, it's on internal. And so we won't get into the whole pool deck bridge thing.
I have a question related to, in your staff report, we had the recommended conditions of approval, and this is just something so I understand where we're going. And some of these, we know that 7 and 8 would apply to this application, but I'm assuming
It would be number
1,
1, 7, 8, 9.
What about 4 and 5? Oh, no, 4. What about 4? All new windows and doors.
Okay, 4, yes, all right.
4, 7, 8, 9, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so
And
1.
6, we'll go ahead and have 6 combined, because the clear story windows and how they are preserved may be a
That's-
combination between the two.
Yes,
So you'll
okay.
be at 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I have a question. Is there any lighting that's gonna be on in front of this? Like with the sconces or anything like that?
Well, we're not talking about the building, we're just talking about the bridge.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that building's next. I know, I was confused for a second too.
Just the bridge.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And the
I wasn't here.
So just the 1-story addition on the pool and the bridge.
And there is lighting in the ceiling of the little colonnade component that faces east.
Is there anything else other than your recommended conditions of approval? You were pretty comfortable with this, the addition overall?
Yes.
I felt good about it when I looked at it, but I do want to ask the applicant if that's okay. Herman, are we okay with moving on to the applicant?
Well, have we, anything from St. So could we hear from the applicant, and then you can ask them.
Did you guys have a presentation or?
Most of what we're presenting sort of follows up, really kind of starts from the new design, the annex and the parking structure. Where we started with the existing building, I think staff covered it very well. We're very pleased with it.
Well, actually, my condition had to do with the, I can't,
The walkway?
no, No, I've had so many meetings, so my brain's not working. On the south elevation, the additional enhancements, the decorative features that staff suggested, is condition number 7 acceptable to you? And what are your thoughts relating to that south, the decorative features on the arches?
Right, basically what we did is try to create, again, some simple recesses just to break up, the long monotonous wall there. But regarding the mosaics or, paintings or murals or something, we're agreeable to that. So, there's been some other
Do you have any specific thoughts in that now, or do you want to bring that back to us when you work that out, or do you want paintings versus mosaics, or do you just want to leave it open and
We've had a couple of discussions. Bonnie's got a good.
Bonnie Miskell again for the applicant, and I think in fact the client is interested in going out into the community, and because you have so many artists in your community, and actually soliciting some of their ideas and perhaps utilizing those artists to come and leave their mark on it.
I think that would be really wonderful.
Well, I would, if that's the direction, I would encourage, and it doesn't have to be part of the approval, but the Lula program of the CRA has already created a mechanism to solicit and obtain artists who are local here for murals. And so I would encourage the applicant, they wanted to go that route, to collaborate with the CRA, Community Redevelopment Agency, and the hotel is in the CRA district, so that would be
I
perfectly
wouldn't put
appropriate.
that in the condition of approval, but I would also second William's thoughts. The Lula program is exceptional, and they've done an incredible job with CRA and what they have done, so.
So then there's no openings on that south wall.
No,
No.
we have no windows. It's all basically utilitarian space.
Containing the kitchen.
Part of it.
I just had a quick question. Will people be able to walk from from the new building through this walkway to Bryant Park? Is that a pedestrian walkway?
No, that's not what it was on the site plan.
No,
I didn't think so, but I'm asking.
Yeah, as of right now, it's all strictly landscaped, and it's not designed as an access path or walkway between.
Yeah, I kind of view that as a lost opportunity, but as I recall, you have I think at the west end, you have a transformer. Correct. That's unfortunate.
All right, had a motion and a second.
You want me to pull the trigger on the motion here?
Please.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve HRPB 15-001 00216 with staff recommended conditions located in the staff report. Conditions 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Ms. Fitchie, what I recommend, number 7,